Dear students, in our previous class, we have discussed about two-dimensional array and representation of two-dimensional array. In representation of two-dimensional array, there are two types. One is row major order, another one is column major order. We have discussed, and also we have solved a problem by using the formulas of row major order and column major order. Now, today we are going to discuss about the applications of arrays. Applications of arrays. So, what are the basic applications of arrays? How these arrays can be used? All these things we are going to discuss today. The first one is arrays are used to implement other data structures such as heaps, hash, tables, hash tables, queues, stacks, strings, etc. Listen here. The first use of array is that, okay, it is used to implement other data structures. Okay, which are the other data structures? The other data structures such as heaps. Heaps means in sorting type, there is one sorting technique by means of heap sort, and hash tables. Okay, it is a type of a data structure. Then queues. Later we are going to discuss this queues. Stacks also in your syllabus, we will discuss later. Then strings you are already aware of strings. It means string is a sequence of characters. It is also a type of data structure. Queue is a type of data structure, stack is a type of data structure, heap, hash table, strings, etc. So by all means, okay, arrays are used to implement all these type of data structures. So array can help in implementation of all these types of data structure. This is the one application of the arrays. Come, next we shall see the second application. The second application is that arrays are used to implement mathematical vectors and matrices. Vectors and matrices. Arrays are used to implement mathematical vectors and matrices. These are the types of arithmetics in mathematics. Matrices means just like two-dimensional array. Look, if this is a two-dimensional array, okay, which is having some elements, okay, this is called as matrices. Okay, this type of entries we can call it as matrices. The same way, vectors is also a type of arithmetic. Okay, for implementing this type of mathematical things, okay, arrays are used. I have already shown you okay, in two-dimensional array. Okay, this is a two-dimensional array. It means this is a matrix, a single matrix. So this type of group of matrix, we can call them collectively as matrices. So for implementing this type of matrices and mathematical vectors, okay, the arrays are used. Next, come to the third use of array. The third use is many databases use one dimensional array okay, whose elements are records. Okay, this is the last use of arrays, or one dimensional array or two dimensional array, whatever it may be. It is only the uses of array, maybe one dimensional or two dimensional or multi-dimensional. But remember one thing, in your syllabus only one dimensional and two dimensional arrays are discussed. Okay, you doesn't have any explanation about the multi-dimensional array or any detail about multi-dimensional array in your syllabus. Okay, so here many database, okay, use one dimensional array whose elements are records. For example, think a table. Okay, think this as a table: serial number, name, okay, date of birth, okay, 1 ABC, okay, 25, 4, and so on. Okay, like this. Okay, think this is a database, okay, whose elements are records. Elements means a row can be called as a record. Okay, this is record 1 and this is record 2, like that. This type of databases whose elements are records, in this type of databases one dimensional arrays are used. Okay, many databases use one dimensional array, okay, whose elements are records. This is a database and the elements of this database is called as a record. Okay, then in this type of databases one dimensional array is used. Okay, so these are the applications of arrays, collectively arrays, not one dimensional or not two dimensional. This is completely the applications of arrays. Okay, hope you have understood these three things. First thing is, what is the first thing? The first use is arrays are used to implement, okay, the other database, other data structures such as hash tables, okay, heaps, queues, stacks, strings, etc. Okay, the second use is arrays are used to implement the mathematical vectors and matrices. And third thing, arrays are used, okay, just like many databases use one dimensional array whose elements are records. Think this as a database and each row is called as a record. In this type of databases one dimensional arrays are used. So this is about the applications of arrays. Now come, we shall discuss about the advantages of arrays. What are the advantages of arrays? What are the advantages of arrays? It is used to represent multiple data items of same type. Multiple data items of same type by using single name. Okay, it is used to represent multiple data items. Okay, advantages. It is used to represent multiple data items of same type by using single name. For example, okay, here take an array. Okay, I will take an array whose elements are A, B, C, D, E. And you know the subscript A of 0, A of 1, A of 2, A of 3, and A of 4. Here, what it says here, okay, used to represent multiple data items. Look here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 data items are here. Okay, multiple data items means more than one are called as multiple. Here, multiple data items of same type. Okay, they are all of same type, not different type. Okay, by using single name. Single name means here A is the name for every element. Okay, subscript number is different, 1, 2, 3, 4, but the name is same. This complete array can be named as an array A. Okay, like this, it is having multiple data items of same type. Same type means included in one dimensional array. By using single name, just A is a name. If you want to represent A, then represent the first element, then we will use its subscript, that is A of 0. Name is this, but the element number is 0. Then A of 1, this is for B. Now A, name is the single name is A, but just the number is different. Just like this type, okay, by representing an array of different elements or the different items with the same name, we will use array. Next come, we shall see the second advantage of an array. Okay, here also the same thing again repeated, that is, it is used to implement. Look, in applications also same point is there. This is the first point, but in advantages this is the second point. It is used to implement other data structures, such as heaps, okay, then hash tables, okay, here some different things are given, such as heaps, trees, graphs, okay, then linked lists, stacks, queues, etc. Stacks, queues, okay, etc. Remember, okay, in applications of arrays also the same point. Okay, there we have used heaps, okay, then hash tables, queues, stacks. See, queues and stacks are again repeated here. Okay, heaps also repeated, but added few more things. That's it. Only trees, graphs, and linked lists are added. Few things are added, not changed. Okay, it means it is used to implement other data structures such as heaps, trees, graphs, linked lists, queues, and stacks, strings, etc. If you write the first point of applications as the point of advantages, then that is okay. No need to get confused in applications first point and then advantages second point. Both the points are same. Okay, then the third point or the last point, that is okay, two-dimensional arrays. Two-dimensional arrays are used to represent matrices. I have already shown you in applications the same thing here. Matrix means we will take a two-dimensional array as an example. Okay, take any elements. We'll take number itself 0, 1, 2, 5, 6, 8, again -5, 2, -3. Okay, if we take this, can be called as a two-dimensional array. Okay, here two-dimensional arrays are used to represent matrices. In mathematics, matrices, if we take, I will take the same element 6, 5, 8, and -3, 2, -5. Okay, this can be called as a matrix in mathematics, single matrix. So this type of group of matrix we can call collectively as matrices. So we have two-dimensional array. Here we are using two-dimensional array to represent the matrix. Okay, in number of rows and columns. If we represent any array, so it means here we have to use the two-dimensional array for representing the elements in rows and columns. That is called to represent matrices. This can be called as a matrix. To represent this type of elements, we will use two-dimensional arrays. So next come. So this is about the advantages of arrays. The first thing is it is used to represent multiple data items of same type by using single name. We have to take the example of one-dimensional array. This would be the best example for representing, okay, same item, okay, same things, but multiple things by giving just a single name. Then it is also used to implement the data structures such as trees, graphs, heaps, stacks, queues, linked list, all these things. Then next, the two-dimensional arrays are used to represent matrices. For this type of entries, for this type of matrices, two-dimensional arrays are used. Okay, one thing remember, whenever you remember a two-dimensional array, then you have to think it is a matrix. Whenever you see a matrix, then you have to think it is a two-dimensional array. Matrix means rows and columns included. That is called matrix. Not just a single row, not just a single column is called as a matrix. A thing which is including both rows as well as a columns. Okay, rows and columns. So that type of array we can call it as two-dimensional array, as well as it can be called as a matrix. Okay, these are the advantages of array. Now come, we shall see the disadvantages of array. Disadvantages of arrays. The first point. Okay. The first point here is we must know in advance. We must know in advance that how many elements are to be stored in array. Okay, this we must know in advance that how many elements are to be stored in array. If we want to create an array, okay, if you want to create an array, either it may be one dimensional array or it may be two dimensional array. At the time, what is condition? What is the disadvantage? Disadvantage here is that we have to know if we want to insert the elements a b c d e, okay, then we have to think that five elements have to be inserted in an array. In advance, we have to know this, that how many elements, five elements are to be stored in an array. After that only we can able to create an array. Okay, then only we can able to create an array for five elements. Okay, otherwise we cannot able to create an array properly. Okay, we can create, but we cannot able to create the proper array. In advance, we have to know that the number of elements, how many should be entered in an array. This is the one drawback of array. This is the one disadvantage of an array. Okay, come next. We shall see what is the next disadvantage of an array. Array is static structure. It means array is of fixed size. The memory which is allocated to array the memory which is allocated to array cannot be increased or reduced. Look here. Second point, array is static structure. It means the array is of fixed size. Okay, if we are having array of size 5 or 4, take it as 4. Okay, then this must be the fixed size of an array. If you want to increase or decrease again, then it should not be allowed in an array. Okay, array should be of fixed size. If you want to insert 4 elements, then array should be of fixed size 4 only. Okay, then after creating an array, it should not be possible to increase or decrease. Before creation itself, we have to create an array of size whichever we want. Okay, it is better to create. See here, the memory which is allocated to array cannot be increased or decreased. It will think this as 1 bit or 1 byte. Okay, one element a b c d. Okay, one element is having a memory of 1 byte. In totally 4 elements is having completely the memory of 4 bytes. Okay, at that time what we have to do, we have to create an array of size whichever we want at the time of creating array itself. At starting itself, we have to create an array of size how much we need. Okay, if we want to add one more item, then we can able to add in the left space. If we create a congested array, then we cannot able to add more items. It means memory space cannot be increased or cannot be decreased for an array once if it is created. Okay, before creation itself, we have to think how much memory we have to should be needed and how many element array we need to be created. Okay, before creating itself, we have to think that, and we need to create the required amount of, we need to take the required amount of memory for the array. This is the second disadvantage of an array. Next, come to the third disadvantage. What the next disadvantage says? Third one. Since the array is of fixed size, the array is of fixed size, if we allow more memory than requirement, more memory than requirement, then the memory space will be wasted. If we allocate less memory than requirement, then it will create a problem. Okay, look here. Third disadvantage. Here we have already know that array should be of fixed size. Okay, since the array is of fixed size, if we allow more memory than requirement after creating an array, if we want to add more memory or more elements to that array, okay, the memory space will be wasted. At the time, what will happen? The memory space will going to be waste, or it will get wasted if we allocate less memory than requirement. Okay, for example, we have to add 3 elements. If we create the array of only 3 elements, if we want to add 4 elements, okay, but we have created an array of three elements, okay, less memory than requirement, then it will create a problem. If we want to add one more memory space for that array, then it will create a problem. Okay, then it should not be possible to create more memory after creation of an array. It is not possible to add more memory after creation of an array. Before creation only we have to think, and we need to add the required amount of memory or required amount of space for that array. Okay, next thing, the last disadvantage, what it states. The elements of an array are stored in consecutive memory locations. Consecutive memory locations. So, insertion and deletion are more difficult. Very difficult and time consuming. Okay. Look here, the elements of an array are stored in consecutive memory locations. So, insertion and deletion are very difficult in time consuming. We have discussed while discussing insertion and deletion of an array. For example, look here, I will take two arrays here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look here. Array. Okay. Address can be taken as 100, 101, 102, 103, and 104. This also can be taken as 100, then 101, 102, then 103, and 104. Okay. Then prefix can be given as a of 1, a of 0, a of 1, a of 2, then a of 3, then a of 4. The same type here also, a of 0, then a of 1, then a of 2, then a of 3, then a of 4. This means here it's of our elements are stored in consecutive memory locations. It means A, B, D, E. Okay. Consecutive means one after the other without giving gap. Okay. A, B, D, E are inserted. Okay. If you want to insert C, then this is very difficult because A, B will be inserted. After that, it will check the memory space. Then D has to be moved here, E has to be moved here. After that, C should be inserted here. Then it is very difficult because these two items have to get down. Then one more item has to be inserted in between at the time of insertion. And same if we take for deletion. Okay, take this array. If we want to delete C, at the time this C has to be deleted, and these two items should come up. It is very difficult and it will take lot amount of time. This means, okay, elements are stored in consecutive locations. Because of that, insertion of an element or the deletion of an element is very difficult and it's time consuming. Okay, lot of time it will take for insertion also and for deletion also, because if you want to insert an item, then the below item has to go one step down, then the element is inserted. Okay, if you want to delete also, this element has to be deleted and the below elements has to come up again. So it will take lot of time and it is very difficult. So this is regarding the disadvantages of array. So today we have discussed the applications of array, advantages of an array and disadvantages of an array. In next class, we shall move to stacks. And what is stacks and how many operations are there in stack and how can we do the operations of a stack. All these things we shall going to discuss in our next class. So regarding these things, applications, advantages and disadvantages of an array, if you have any doubts, you can ask me personally. Thank you.